Hey, cunts, don't forget to click the subscribe button.
Was the 99-cent deal. It sounds like you're getting a good deal because you're not paying $1. And that's exactly what Steve Jobs basically did to Disney. By not saying, oh, we want an extra billion, just, 900 million. See, it doesn't have that B to it, so it sounds better, which I never actually considered. So, one reason that Disney benefits from buying Pixar is because Disney owns 5% of Pixar already. So since they already own Pixar, why not just own all of Pixar? Another benefit
Or another way to say it is that they're going to benefit 5% of whatever the sales price is because they already own 5%. So does that really reduce their cost?
A little bit, but
yeah,
it's insignificant.
Well, no, 5% of billions. I mean, is 7 billion, 10%. It's 350 million bucks.
Okay.
Over the year, how many years do the savings work?
Yeah. And okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
And when this case starts, you see Eisner and Steve Jobs hate each other. It's fuck you, fuck you.
Correct.
I don't like your work ethic. I don't like your work ethic. And whenever you work for Pixar, the first thing they ask you is, how can I work with you? Whereas Disney's like, let's make some fucking money, which is two different cultures. However,
they were called the difference between laissez-faire management at Pixar and the suits. The suits were Disney guys. But Disney used to hide behind the fact Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse, okay? But there was cartoons that went out at that time, which probably don't exist anymore, is that they showed Donald Duck with teeth like a dinosaur, and they showed the Mickey Mouse like some kind of vampire. And those were the things that were going around the ship because even though they have theme parks and cruise boats and you bring your little kids there, they were hard-ass business guys. They tear the throat out of you. Go ahead.
So the board and I have decided, Mr. Eisner, you have to get the fuck out. So the board got rid of Eisner over Pixar, based on what the case shows. And now you're Bob Iger, and you come in and you say, fuck, this Pixar shit is a big deal. So now you have to decide, do you buy Pixar and put up with Steve Jobs' bullshit? Do you develop your own animation better? Or do you go with the DreamWorks or look for another competitor? And you can't discount that Steve Jobs is a motherfucker, so he has options. He's thinking, I can go with Warner Brothers. I can also go with Fox. Or I can go with Sony, who all at the time have a shit ton of more capital than Disney. So, I can sell to them. I understand Disney's strategy and how they make movies. And we can undercut Disney and say, fuck Disney and try to take them out the market. So you have two egos, two companies, but they both have different cultures and they both have different goals. So Disney buying Pixar means, how do you incorporate people who don't think like us into our company? Right? So you go buy a company and everyone thinks very differently than you. But they are making a shit ton of money. But your work ethic and theirs are not the same. And the only way I see that is possible is to have them as a subsidiary. You can't actually bring them into the parent company because that won't work. They're not a part of that culture. And bringing them to the parent company and putting that structure on them means that they can easily all just walk away and say, fuck you. And now you have a brand new company with no employees. So, my goal
They used to say you would own the most expensive computers in the world. There would be no people behind to do animation. That was the fear. But the difference between Fox, Warner Brothers, Sony, and Disney, there's no comparison. Disney had the brand that was worth infinitely more than Fox, Warner Brothers, Sony. There's no comparison. And that's the rationale at the time that people say that he sold to them. the other thing is about combining two cultures. You can't. And that's, I believe, if I remember correctly, that Disney told them, you're going to have your own culture, you're going to run your own deal separate from us.
Thank you. And another thing to point out is Pixar stock is going up, whereas Disney stock is kind of like wavering. It's not really going up, but it's not really going down.
It plateaued.
Correct. And seeing that, and knowing that what gives Pixar an advantage is computer technology animation, not really people. So you can't really quickly replace that technology unless you steal it. And that's one thing that I thought about just now is when you talk about ethics. Well, Disney has infinite more money than Pixar. One thing they potentially had the opportunity to do was steal the technology. But that didn't happen. And as you reflect on it today, this price of $7.4 billion has doubled for how much money Pixar has made Disney. So was it a great deal? Yes. In 2019, they've made Disney over $14 billion. So.
Is that up to date or
correct?
Up to date, yeah. Okay.
July 2019. So do the deal based on the information and not the current number? Absolutely. Because you don't know what the future holds. In DreamWorks, their closest competitor, still can't compete yet. So you want to win the battle today and think about tomorrow as it comes.
Okay. The having been, now what year was this again?
2006.
Yeah, having been around, not with these guys, but having been around and having actually known Steve, this was not the deal of the century, but I mean it was a big deal. But to Steve, he proved himself, founded another company, was involved in another company, made it a superstar, being Pixar, and that wasn't him telling Apple fuck off, but it was kind of telling Apple fuck off, made a mistake. But at the same juncture, he is collaborating with Apple at the same time, and then he ultimately, goes back to Apple, and the rest of the history. So the egos that were involved, partially Steve, and wanted to be able to show people that he was not a one-trick fuck. He was a two-trick pony. And if you remember back when you listened to Steve Ballmer, when he was talking about Microsoft, the guys that have those big companies and run these big companies don't want to be just known for one thing. They want their legacy to be 2, 3, or 4, or 5 things. So, no, but I mean, some of the other God groups you're going to see approach it from a different angle. That's why we wait till after lunch today and for each group to come up. They're already jockeying who's going to present first. I'm just telling you, I haven't picked anybody yet. Who's going to present first and who's going to present last. Don't be so quick. Talk that through. Who's going to present first, second, third, and fourth? Okay? Because the idea is, obviously, that the one that presents fourth can pivot and morph.
Advantage.
Yeah. So think it over. And if you have any choices. But this is it's a great exercise. Yeah, it's a great exercise. And especially with such well-known names. Now, we have people before, not when you were here at the Hardcore, they come in wearing, Mickey Mouse ears, and get dressed up like a cartoon character. We don't need that's a little too much over the top. But you're not giving bad information. But there's 2 or 3 different ways to look at even just straight numbers. So. Any questions of me while I'm here?
You mentioned people want to be known for more than one trick. Has there ever been individuals that you can think off the top of your head that have known for like 3 or 4 or 5? Who's that?
Not too, well, yeah. Tesla,
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Elon,
Yeah.
and that's why there's no reason you should put up with Elon, other than he is. There's a reason why he named his car. That's not by accident, and it's not by accident that he didn't know Albert Einstein either. Albert Einstein said Tesla's the smartest guy who ever was born on this planet. Okay, but yeah, Elon has certainly been involved in several successes along with Tesla. I mean, you go back, what did Edison invent? Well, arguably he stole some of his shit, old Uncle Tom. And so there is a lot of corporate espionage, mostly coming from Asia. It used to be coming from Russia, but people steal stuff. And now I don't know how to hack in anybody's computer, but apparently it's pretty fucking easy to hack in because people are, downloading your information. And then unless you have money to fight, unless you have the will to fight, I mean, these, like I tell, these NDAs aren't worth anything. And the only way that you settle corporate espionage is to sue. And then if you got to go to the world court, I mean, it's a long fucking ass program, and some people just say, forget about it.
Not a corporate, but the city that I worked for the fire department got hacked. And it affected everything. The ransom, 911 system, IT, payroll, utility payments, everything going overnight. So, pretty scary.
Yeah. I was listening to the ambulance business. Do you have an ambulance case? No, you didn't get that case. There's the Nigerian syndrome now, because the Nigerian guys and gals went in and got all the ambulance licenses, not all, but many of them. So they control that market. So now, and they were just flipping the licenses, just the companies with the license. So now in Texas, you have to apparently own and run the business for 36 months. And the Nigerians didn't stick around that long. But now the Nigerians are going to Ethiopia, coming back with an Ethiopian passport. And so so it's not just apparent. Of course, they bribe somebody because they shouldn't be able to get passports that easy. But we'll hear that case probably tomorrow, which is interesting. Anything else?
Are you going to share how you would structure as well?
Oh, no. Well, see, I wouldn't have done the deal.
You would not have done.
Because of ego?
No, fuck ego. I know, yeah.
Just the cash flow?
Can I push back to what you're saying?
Sure.
So you said a lot of good things. You said about when you said about the UK when they warned against the Zulu warriors, they cut them down row by row by row by row.
One after, yeah, correct.
And that was it's not because the UK, the empire had better, in my opinion, better warriors. Well, had better warriors or more fearless warriors or bigger. It was only because of the technological advantage.
Repeating rifle.
With the gun.
The repeating rifle, correct.
So how
not just any gun. The repeating rifle had just come into fruition.
So how I see it is, if they did not do the deal, they were risking actual existence, like Blockbuster or they were risking actually existing. So in an alternate universe, Disney may not have even existed if they did not do the deal.
That's all possible. But see, I'm a big number guy. This deal was too small. I wouldn't even looked at it. If he came in and let's say he's a senior vice president, hey Skinny, get the fuck out. I heard enough. This is peanuts.
Even in the billions.
No. I mean, Pixar. What was their revenue? Pixar's revenue back in those days, 2005.
It was about 3.5 billion.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. They didn't buy this to survive. They mostly bought it because the first CEO that they threw out couldn't cut a deal with Steve. And Steve went out of his way to cut a deal with the second guy. wanted to say fuck you to the first guy, okay? And 2, he wanted to disassociate himself so he could be more involved with Apple. And 3, this made him a 2-trick guy, 2 pony tricks, or 2 tricks. But I went and looked at the numbers. If I had been the chairman of Disney, I went to look at the numbers. And so